So Boneworks is a VR game. It came out in 2019 and was made by Stress Level Zero. You play as Arthur Ford. You're the head of security at Monogon. The story is told through TVs and writing on the wall with things like Down with Monogon, and there's a general voiceover through some of the sections. It really reminded me of Bioshock in that aspect. I've played through the whole game on the Quest 2 with Oculus Link and Virtual Desktop. I played about 90% on Virtual Desktop, and I've also played about 3 to 5 hours on the Rift S, with the Quest 2 wireless being my preference. Once I got rid of that cable, I just couldn't have it back. So the game was the main reason I got a VR headset. The creators made a video about it, and it went viral. It's where they're using the guns, and I just thought I had to try this. One of the best things about Boneworks is it really pushes VR forward in a way that no other game has done before. So the gun mechanics and physics, some of the best I've ever played in VR. It even keeps up with Half-Life Alyx, especially the reloading and telekinesis. It works better than any other game I've played. I like the idea of you hold your hand open and then you close it and then something comes to you, rather than sort of the flick that's used in Half-Life Alyx. The telekinesis just feels so natural. So does reloading and clearing the gun, that chick part. And I had a lot of fun learning new tricks. My favorite one was throwing a mag out and taking one out and then using telekinesis to catch it back and then reload the gun. There are tons of little cool sort of tricks you can do with the gun that are a lot of fun. So another amazing part is the sandbox aspect of it. So there's almost always multiple ways of solving puzzles and going through the mission. I never felt like I was in a box or the puzzle was too difficult. I think they found a really good balance between puzzles and action gameplay. At its core, it's sort of like a puzzle action story game. So it's with sort of a linear narrative. And one thing I loved as well is the AI at certain aspects. So at some moments of the game, the AI was just incredible. So there are these characters on like little scooter things. They're so aggressive and they're hard to predict, especially the orange guys on the wheels towards the end. But there were a lot of moments where they were just mindless as well. So they were just walking towards you and they were super easy to defeat. And there was never really a moment where I felt overwhelmed or that I couldn't beat them, especially with the movement. Another incredible aspect about this game is the sort of no compromises approach. So it doesn't do teleport movement. At first, I wanted to throw up. Like I was like nauseous after just putting the headset on, and then I used it a little bit every day. And then after like a few days, I just got so used to it. It gets you used to locomotion movement. When I first started, it was impossible to play, and then I could play it for a little bit, and then I could play it for a long time. And then climbing made me want to throw up, and jumping. And then I got used to climbing, and then I got used to jumping. And now I can play with literally no motion sickness, which is incredible. And some of the negative aspects of the game, and now I use the word negative lightly. This is probably the second best VR game I've played after Half-Life Alyx. But just some of the negatives, I sort of want to preface this by saying, get this game. Like, just these negatives aren't worth it. It's worth just to play for the experience. But the main negative, I guess, was the saving system is just not good. So after climbing for 20 minutes, you have to do it all again. That's the closest I've come to throwing my VR headset at the computer. There's this sort of segment towards the end of the game where you have to do a lot of climbing, like 20 minutes of climbing, especially when I felt like a lot of the time it was the mechanics and it wasn't my fault for messing up the climbing. It's really annoying in that sense that sometimes it's more a battle with the controls than the enemies or AI. And another part of it is, I guess, the technology. So it's probably more of an issue with the device I was playing on, the Quest 2. I'm sure it's way better on the Index with the finger tracking, but on the Quest 2, it just didn't feel like a lot of things worked. Like you couldn't slide your hand up a gun like they showed in the Node video. And parts of it just felt clunky. Like you kind of close your hand and like things don't happen the way you want them to be. And a big aspect of the clunkiness is the virtual body you have. So climbing, it's hard to get your body to do the right thing. Simple things like climbing just become nightmarishly annoying tasks. I remember towards the end of the game, I was climbing up this thing and like my body was like stuck in between a pole, and I couldn't get my body over the pole so I could keep climbing, and little things like that, like your body just getting wedged in things, which is nauseous as well. So the UI as well, I sort of love the UI, how you can like drop things and you can carry so many things, but I kept accidentally taking things out, especially ammo. I was always accidentally doing that through the UI. It really felt like the game was held back in some ways by it. There was something everywhere I was always taking or putting in. There's a noise when you take things out and put things in, but it's too light. So pressing A and then viewing the UI was too many steps, I thought. It should just be when you press the A button, you can see your whole UI. Something like that would have been good. It was a big issue, I guess. You always just accidentally take ammo out because it's right on your chest. So I'd always try and grab something and I ended up taking something out and flying it across the room. So some sort of system where you could just press A and see the whole UI would have been a great addition. Although I mostly got used to it. I kind of got used to it, but I was always accidentally taking ammo out. So I got used to the UI, but I could never get my head around that aspect of it. So aiming, it was annoying trying to aim. So aiming was just annoying. Like closing one eye and aiming through the trigger. I guess it was cool at the start, but it was giving me a lot of eye strain, and I just found it really annoying. I found it easier to just randomly fire, and then you could see where you missed, and then just aim closer to the person because you see you've missed. And I found doing that was just much easier. And the laser sight was really good as well, but aiming with one eye just wasn't worth it. As well as the jumping was a big issue. It was delayed and it didn't work like it should. I had a lot of difficulty with this, especially in the puzzle sections at the start of the game. Like you'd jump and it would be delayed, even on the Rift S. Or like the jumping just wouldn't work like you think it would. There is so much post-game content, whether that's the sandbox mode or the zombie horde mode, and I feel like the levels are just super replayable just because of the amount of options you have of completing the missions. So I'd say this is the second best VR game you can get. It's up there with Half-Life Alyx. It'd just be incredible to see what Stress Level Zero make next. But if you're thinking about getting this game or getting a headset, I think you should definitely get one and play this game. It's worth it just to play this, and I cannot wait to see what Stress Level Zero make next.